I hope y'all have snacks because this is about to be a story time. Okay. So, I honestly, I don't know why I'm like about to go meet people to eat dinner, but also I was asleep all day and this will be food. So, um, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. So, the story time. The story time. Okay. So, to keep this from being like super unhinged and all over the place, I the first part of the day, like the entire first half, more than her first half of the day in Seoul was completely fine. It was actually really fun. I mean, we are like an unhinged pair of people, but I mean, it was fun. And like everything was, that we were shopping, which I will show I will show the stuff that I bought uh like in another video because I'm kind of like short on time at this exact moment because yeah, I have to get ready to go to dinner. Um but anyway, I don't know why that's in air quotes. Sorry. I like honestly I slept from like 8 a.m. until like now, which is like well a little bit earlier than now obviously, but like until like 6 p.m. So uh I don't I'm not like functional completely because I was asleep. I was awake for like 24 hours. So if I say crazy stuff, yeah, it's crazy stuff coming out of my face. But anyway, this is like the TLDR version too. So after I get on the last train, I literally somehow we got on the last train and I was able to get to this place where I thought I was going to go. Okay, so that there is like the little, what is it, like the crux of this whole story. So mind you, the whole day, but no, before I come up there, my friend was like, oh yeah, I got an Airbnb, you can just stay with me. So I did not book anything, which like, honestly, I'm one of those people that normally doesn't trust the other person about their like Airbnb either choice or whatever. And if I don't see it, I usually am like, okay, I'm just gonna book my own, right? But she kind of like the way things happened kind of spontaneously and the way that she'd kind of like in a way proved herself in the past because we've hung out with like me and another person and she's like gotten accommodations and we just like split it or whatever. Like there was kind of no reason for me to believe that she would have like her Airbnb not be an Airbnb, but it actually was not. And she had gotten a Goshuan. And so she didn't tell me this until like dinner. Like we were eating dinner, like mind you, it was like maybe like 8. Like we were deep into dinner. We had like sat and waited to go into this place because we were in Hongdae. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I just asked the guy, I think we have a little bump in our plan. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, I asked the guy and he said it's too small. And I was like, is he just saying it's too small because he wants to like charge for another person? Or is he saying it's too small like he doesn't want you to be uncomfortable and maybe give him a bad review? So she's paranoid because like one time we went to an Airbnb and then I came up after they had already been in it. And I was only there that night. But then I was like, oh, I think we should, like I'm going to leave. But they kind of were like, oh, but we're not ready, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I'll just leave with all you together. But basically we stayed until checkout, like exactly. And the cleaning people came in and then the cleaning people snitched that there was another person in the room and then double charged her. So she thought that in her mind, for some reason, she thought that we, she had to pay double because of the cameras. It's not the cameras. Um it was the cleaning ladies that snitched. But anyway, the guy was like really shisty too because she was like she had accidentally left her charger in there, and then he was like, oh, too bad, whatever. And he kept pretending like she was the person who lied to him. And she was like, no, my friend was only here one night. Like, can you just charge for that? I'll, like, pay it, whatever. And then he kept, like, he kept acting like she was the one who was the scammer, but he was honestly the scammer. So, anyway, all that to say, she was, like, really panicking about, she panics about, like, she is one of those people that just, like, freaks out about everything. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like, I'll just, come in or whatever. Like, it can't be that bad. She was like, it's really small. It's really, really, really small. And I'm like, what do you mean it's really small? Like, it's dorm room small or what? She's like, no, it's smaller than a dorm room. And I'm like, explain. And she's like, it's a Goshiwon. Like, it's like the bed and then it's the bathroom, like right next to it. And I was like, okay. So she's like, okay, I'll just like book another one for you. And so she's like looking around. Mind you, it's Chuseok, so like half of everything's closed, or like if things are booked, it's like whatever. And since she waited until like the end of dinner, there's literally only like 1 hour left to be able to book from people that they will like accept a request. Like, I don't know why she waited this long. But anyway, I was just like, okay, whatever, right? So she booked, like, one guy doesn't reply. So she ends up booking a different one. And I'm going to go to that one, right? Okay, well, we, get on the last train or whatever, and hers is, like, the Goshiwon is in Gangnam. My accommodation, let's call it, is also in Gangnam too, but, like, 2 stops away. So, like, this accommodation is near, like, where all the really famous, like, plastic surgery clinics are, like, Nonhyun, like, station area, like, that, like, bougie, like, not Shinchan, what is that over there? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's, like, bougie people area. So, I get off, and I'm like, okay, like, this area seems really quiet, and I'm following the map, because she gave me the pen. But I guess the pen was the wrong one because she gave me the wrong address. Which, like, the address that, like, the only thing I can say in her defense is the guy gave really vague address thing of where he lived. Because if you don't know this, Korea recently changed their address numeric of how to, like, classify a building where it is, like, the address numbers. Like, they went from one number system to another street-based number system. And, yeah, he gave, like, the old way of finding the house. But, like, it still comes up when you put those in, like, apps. But, like, she was trying to tell me that I was at the wrong, like, she's like, oh, you're at the right place. And I was like, this is not the right place. Like, I kid you not, I walked, like, uphill multiple times, because that whole area is just hills. I walked uphill multiple times to, like, get to this supposedly the accommodation, which I was like, this is like a gated community type area. Like, it was very, very rich people vibes. I was just like, I don't even think this is, like, it can't be in here. And if it's in here, like, the price that this Airbnb does not make sense for, like, the type of room that will be in here. And so I get there, and then I'm like, there's no door code. There's not anything that matches the description of this guy. Mind you, the guy also didn't have pictures of the outside of the building on the Airbnb. So I was like, is this it? Like, this can't be it. This is somebody's house. Like, there's, like, coupon delivery shit in front of this person's house. Like, this is somebody's house. So I was like, this is somebody's house. And I was like, I'm not going to ring the doorbell because that's just weird. It is like 1 a.m. I'm not going to, like, wake someone up and then it not be the house. And then she was like, well, we'll just put in the key code. And I'm like, the key code it's not like that kind of key code. It is like the Secom, like, system thingy thing. And I was like, bro, no, it's not. And I, like, peep into the door. I'm like, the door doesn't even have a handle. Like, this is not like a door. Like, this is a door that you have to, like, press a button and it, like, whatever. And I look into, like, one of the other doors, and it is literally, I kid you not, it's literally a garage that has a light on all night, And inside through the crack, when I look through, there's like a fucking McLaren in this person's garage. Okay. So like already we know this person's like tax bracket is not, this person like doesn't like work at Naver. Like this person like owns like a percent of the shares of Naver. Okay. So I was just like, ooh, okay, so I have to get out of here. Like, this is not it. I was like, give me the address. Is this the real address? She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's not the address. Here's the real address. And she's like, trying to send me these other maps. She's like, is this in Google Maps? I was like, I don't have, or not Google, in Apple Map. And I'm like, I don't have an iPhone. I can't even open this link. Like, can you send me the address so I can put it into like either Kakao Map or Naver Map, right? And she's like, they're different. I'm like, they're not different. I'm looking at the street. She's also using the app in English, so it gives you less building names because it's in English. Like, that's the biggest scam of using maps in Korea. Do not use the English version of anything. Also, don't use the English version of Kakao Taxi, because when you submit it, it's going to give him the English name of the location of where you're going, and he might not know what that is, and he just won't pick you up because it's in English. Do not use the English version. Pro tip. Okay, but anyway, I was just getting really pissed because this was like 3 blocks away. Okay, like not like 3 blocks, like 3 like cons away. Like this was like 3 like walk, go back to the station, go over the street, go up, go turn, go into a neighborhood like type thing. So I'm like, okay, if this is really it, like, fine, I will walk there. So I'm walking there, and, like, this is Nonhyun. Like, I don't know, like, Google it. Nonhyun is all fucking hills. Like, it's just uphill constantly, okay? So, I'm, like, going, I cross the street, and I'm, like, I did, like, the worst loop. I did the worst, like, cardio loop. Like, right now, like, my legs are, like, jelly from this, okay? I did the worst loop of them all. Like, mountainous hills. I'm not talking about like little like, oh, it's a hill. No, like there are none of those types of hills in this town. I think maybe one, and that's like literally going onto a mountain to get to like the mountain area. Okay, so anyway, this is like break your car's transmission type hills. Okay, so I get to this area where it is, and that building does not exist based on the old number system, right? And it's telling me like it's building 19, but building 19 is a villa, so that means the first room in there cannot be 10 something. It's going to start from 20 something because on the second floor, because of the garage level. So I'm like, this is not it, and I can't even get in this building because it does not have a passcode, because the person was like, I left the door open, you can just come in. So I'm like, there's no way this person left the door open. You can't leave the door open. Like, this is not the building. And she was like, no, it's a house. It sounds like it's a house. And I'm like, okay, there was a house. So there was a house, and it had like a very rusty gate that could not be opened. Like, it was just like rusted shut. And I was like, I don't think this is it. And I was like, I can't get into this place that you're saying that you're insisting that it is. So like, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, you have to cancel it or something, because it's not. So, like, I'm like, kind of pissed, because I was like, if you had told me any of this stuff earlier, I could have just, like, bought a ticket back home, like, on the last bus or something, or whatever. Like, I could have done multiple things at that point. If you told me this information at, like, 6 p.m., if you told me even when I got there, I could have done this. But you didn't say anything. So I was like, I think in the back of my mind I was angry, but I honestly was just kind of like tired and done. So I was like kind of not even pissed. I don't know. I was like dissociating or something. So I'm just like, okay, well, like, she's like, well, I'm going to get a taxi and come over there. Okay. And I was like, okay. So I was like, my phone is like almost dying, so I'm just going to go. So I went to like one of those like 24-hour laundromats that like they had they had Wi-Fi and a phone charger or whatever. So I'm like in there until she comes. She comes, and it starts raining. Like, the reason I went in there is because it was raining, honestly. And it was not even rain in the forecast. I did not bring my umbrella. So I was just like, it's raining. It's like 2 a.m. My phone battery is at like 10. We don't know where it is. So she gets there. She goes back to the building that she insists is the right one. And we kind of like sneak in because there's like the gate was rusted, like I said, but like the gate was like not even a real gate because it was just a door, and they had like taken off the stuff that like actually makes it a gate. You could just like walk around it. I didn't even see that because it was dark. Okay, it was nighttime. So we go around and she's like knocking on the door. The door's locked. The door does like the keypad doesn't even light up anymore on this door. And I actually don't think that people live in that building because it was completely dark and the lights didn't work that well. They were flickering. It looked like a horror movie. Like, honestly, that building was kind of creepy. And like the thing that one of the points of the story is that, like, I will say that in Korea there's a lot of buildings that look really, 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 really sketch, but then when you go inside, it's actually nice. That is not the case of any of this story. Okay, so actually I think this house was like somewhat abandoned and no one lived there, because she also went upstairs and then the room was like 20 something, 203, 202 or whatever, and she tried the keypad on those doors, and I was like, I think there's actually people in there. Those people were probably like, why is someone trying to get into my house? But she did try those, and I was just like really uncomfortable because I was like, this is not it. Like what are you doing? So I was just like, okay, because I was standing back. I was like the little kid that's like hiding behind, because I was like, when she opens the door, it's gonna be on her. Like, I am not gonna be the one standing in front of someone's house that I tried to like break into. So she's getting really frustrated, and she just goes onto her, like, the Airbnb app, and she's like looking at the thing, and she's like, oh, I think it's 2 streets over. And I'm like, I don't understand how you can mess up this bad on like a pen, like dropping a pen, or like just copy pasting an address into the address bar. Like, I don't get how this is working. So we go there, and now she's convinced this is definitely it. We get to this building, and when I say this building is like one of those like really old villas that doesn't actually have like a keypad to like come into it. It's just like one that just has a door, and like there's one of those that's like next to my house, and like for the longest time I actually thought that no one lived there until I saw that there like people's lights would be on in the night, so that means there are tenants. But there's just like, it's one of those buildings where it's like really dilapidated and old, and I'm pretty sure it's very cheap to live in it. So we get there, and it's very like creepy, and the door's open, but there's like a fucking cockroach on the stairs. I'm sorry I'm swearing so much in this video, but like I can't, like I'm sorry. Like, this is who I am. So there was a fucking roach on the stairs, and I was like, no. And I was like, Sonia, name dropped her. Okay, whatever, doxed. I was like, I don't think this is the building. Like, this is not the building. Let's just go back. I will like go to your, I'll just find a sauna. Like, I'll just go to a sauna if it's open, because it's Chuseok, and it's probably not, but I'm going to do that. I'm not going in, like, there's roaches in here. But she was like, no, I think this is it. Because she's like also kind of like dissociating into like this delusional, like, we're going to get this, we're going to do it. This is the option. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So she does the keypad, and it opens the door. And when she opens the door, the house is not any better inside. The house is like, he left like one of the lamps on in the room. So it's just like this room that really is giving me like, this is someone's house. I mean, it is someone's house because it's an Airbnb that's like not a vacant room, but like a room in someone's house. But it was very much like, this is someone's house. And all the shoes by the door were like men's shoes. And I think it's just one man there, but I mean, like, it was his shoes. And there was the overwhelming smell of cat piss. Like a litter box that has not, like, not even like, oh, the litter box is dirty. Like a litter box has just been neglected. Like, it smelled like animal waste in this room. Like, overwhelming. Like, I was about to sneeze, because I realized that like the part of cats that I'm allergic to is they're like, either they're dander, so like long-haired cats, I cannot have one. And then like, if their litter box, like if the litter box is clean, I have zero problems. But when you can smell the litter box, I start to get like hay fever from it. Like, I'm allergic to maybe their piss, maybe, I don't know. But I was like, I cannot stay here, because first of all, I'm not going to sleep because there's roaches It smells like cat piss. I'm just going to wake up with like the reddest fucking eyes. Also, I did not see this man's face. Like, he's sleeping in his room, presumably. I don't know if he's a fucking serial killer because his room is very disgusting. Like, you know, like, this was not Pachenko. I didn't see Pachenko. This was very much, that movie. Damn it. You know the movie I'm talking about, with the Banjia Parasite. It was very much Parasite vibes. This place was like a Parasite fucking apartment. It was also like in Squid Game, like Lee Jung Jae's house. You know, that's what this place was. It was this dingy, peeling off the wall character wallpaper. Like, he definitely finessed them photos that he put on Airbnb, because those were not the that room. That was not that room. And I was like, Sonia, I'm not staying here. I'm sorry, I'm not staying in here. And I was like, can't, like, just get your refund. And she's like, I can't get the refund. I went through. And I was like, well, you need to, like, you know, like, Shingo this apartment, because, like, I'm pretty sure that this person is posting the accommodation. People cancel, and he just takes the money, because I don't think anybody stays here. I don't think anybody's like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'll just stay here. Like, I don't think that's what happens. If that place is that filthy, I don't think anybody stays here. So, like, she was like, I don't want to get a bad review, like, you know, at her place for, like, having a, you know, like, a complaint because I came into her place. So I was like, okay, well then, like, she's like, there's a motel around here. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever, you know, I'll stay in a sex motel. I really don't care. But all the sex motels were booked up, and it was like 2 a.m. So you cannot book because it's already Saturday. So, like, you will be booking for Saturday night into Sunday, not now. I went to one, and, like, it literally had a whiteboard outside that was like, sorry, all the rooms are taken. And I was like, yeah, see, like, I can't. I was like, I'm just going to go back to your place and take a shower. And then I'm just going to, like, leave. So, and she was like, no. And then I was like, no, like, that's the only option. Like, I was like, she's like, what about by the terminal? I was like, your place is by the terminal. There's not anything there. And the sauna is closed. So I'm just going to go take a shower. So, like, I took a shower at her place, and she was like, you can stay here. You can sleep here. And I was like, no, I'm not sleeping here. I'm going to shower, and I'm going to leave. And I'm just going to charge my phone until it gets, like, 40% or something so I can, like, leave. And then she's like, oh. So she's like, I'm just going to stay outside. I'm like, okay. I'm just going to take a shower because there's no reason for me to, like, not do that. So I took a shower. Goshuans are a crime against humanity. I don't think it's actually humane to have a person stay in a Goshuan, and this was a clean one, but it still had drain flies, and you were literally sleeping in the bathroom. And the bed was not even the full length of an actual bed, because there was a pillar, and they cut a part of the bed so that it could, like, go around the pillar. So if you're, like, the height of, like, a man, like, if you're not, like, 5 foot, you're not in the, like, 5 foot gang, you are not able to, like, lay completely straight in that room. And there was no chair, there was nothing. Like, literally, it was a toilet, shower, sink combo, and a bed. And, like, it was disgusting. It, like, you could tell that place, like, didn't have visible mold, but it was moldy. You cannot turn on the air conditioner, you cannot turn on the fans or heat, and when I opened the window, it just smelled like trash and people smoking. So, yeah, I think Goshuans are honestly crimes against humanity. And if anyone ever tells you, like, oh, you can just stay in a Goshuan for cheap, do not do it. Do not do it. Like, all the crime, or not the crime, all those, like, expose videos of people that live in Goshuans, and they're, like, basically homeless. Yeah, that's true. Believe it. Like, Naruto. Believe it. Like, do not stay in one of those. So I showered, I gathered my stuff, and I was like, okay, I got the first bus. I'm going to the bus terminal. Like, I know it's 4 a.m., but the bus leaves at, like, 5, like, 30. So I'm just going to go down there. So then, like, I go to the bus terminal. Like, I'm like, bye. I'm leaving. Like, go in there and sleep. She's like, I don't think I can sleep. I'm not going to sleep there. I was like, she's like, no, you sleep. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm going to sleep for 20 minutes, and I can't turn the alarm on, because if I turn the alarm on, we're going to get kicked out because you cannot make noises. That's the other thing. It's paper thin walls, and you cannot make any sounds because everybody's angry about there being sounds. So I was like, yeah, I'm not. And I was like about to get hay fever in there because it just smelled like smoke and trash and there was drain flies around. Like, no. So I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta leave. So I like walked to the station, which was like, like 15 minutes away. And I was like, this is really weird deja vu because I've been at Gyeongbu Terminal in like the wee hours like 4 times in my life already. And I feel like that's insane. Like, I just don't. I'm kind of mad about it. But anyway, I go there and I get there and they turn the lights on, honestly, because it's weird how fast they get that place ready. Like, they were serving food by the time I got on the bus. But I got on the first bus. There was one other guy on that bus. And, yeah, I got back. And that's kind of the end of the story. But, the main points are, 1, do never stay in a Goshuan. 2, don't trust people when they make accommodations. Don't believe their accommodations are real. Just don't. Don't do it. 3, I think Airbnbs maybe are not reliable anymore. I haven't used Airbnb for years in Korea. It used to be great, but now I kind of don't think it is. I think it has reached the levels of what people say that in Europe and the US that they're scams. I think it's become a scam app in Korea too. So don't trust it. Because I don't think you would have been able to list Goshuans in Airbnb back in the day. And I don't think you could list a room in your house if you didn't have an actual house. Because when I did stay in someone's Airbnb that was a house, it was a separate, mind you, it was in Chuncheon, so it was not the city. It was an actual room in a house that could be locked, and it was part of a house, not someone's two-bay that they have a area in it for you. No way. I don't think you could have done that. I don't think you would have gotten approved by Airbnb back in the day, but now you do. So do not trust it. If you're traveling to Korea, don't trust that. I'm not saying go to the Marriott, but go to a hotel. And even hotels I've booked in Seoul that my parents were okay with. My parents were oh, this place is all right. I'm cool with it. And I was honestly, I'm glad you guys are okay with it, but because this place is kind of nasty. But there's places that are decent price, decent quality that are still kind of nasty in Seoul. I feel Seoul had the worst accommodations. I'm not talking about the DoubleTree and Marriott and all those, but I mean they're just regular hotels are some of the worst of the worst. And I don't know if it's just because the city is so big and old, but also people's apartments. I've been to other Epic Teachers apartments in Seoul, and their apartments are moldy and those are the worst ones in this town. If I wanted one of those, I could probably stay in there for 100 a month. Bad ones, roach ones, so, and they're always way smaller. I think my room's pretty small. Actually, I think my room's pretty standard, but their rooms are excessively small. You have to fold away bed type stuff small. So I don't know why people act like Seoul's glamorous, because it's not a glamorous place. And that rich people's neighborhood was literally across the street from this dingy filth area. That's just food for thought, okay? But I have to go because I think my friends who are also other bust downs, because I've never met a group of people who are employed but don't have money to eat in my life. So if we eat tteokbokki, I'm honestly kind of going to be mad, but at least it's food. So we'll see about that. But I'm just making this video so I don't have to explain this story multiple times. I'm just going to send people the link, and I probably will have to make this link private at some point after y'all have seen it, because if for some crazy reason somebody finds my channel and they're oh no, I know this person, I know this and that, I'm not here for this drama, but this is just the link for everybody, explanation of what happened this weekend, this morning, the wee hours, because the majority of this trip was great. I'd say 90% of it was great. It was just that period from like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. that was complete and utter trash. But yes, later, when I'm back home after tonight, or tomorrow, I'm not doing this tonight. I will show my haul of stuff that I got, and like it'll be a fun video and not me just being angry and like whatever this is. Yeah, that is all. I hope you enjoyed with a snack, because this was just like a straight up tea session. Yeah, that's the story of a man named Brady. No, okay, sorry. I am like having like a psychotic break. So yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. But I gotta go because people are texting me. I'm getting the cacao messages. And if we don't eat chicken or some animal, I'm gonna lose my shit. So maybe you'll get another story time. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna put on eyeliner, lipstick, and like peace out. But yeah, bye.